Imagine you are a pricing manager or marketing manager and you're responsible for promotions. But you are tired of your business as usual promotions, here promotional campaign, there promotional campaign. No, this time you go big. You create your own super saver event. And with a love for alliterations and superlatives, you call it big, bigger, biggest, bang for the buck, boom chakalaka event. You pitched the idea to your boss and she asked you, cool, can you give me more insights about the incremental impact of this super event? And should we really do it? We will find out today. Okay, what are retailer-themed super saver events? These are promotional events specific to and designed by the retailers, so it is not a seasonal event shared by many retailers at the same time, like the Black Friday. And these retailers mass advertise unusually deep, immediate deals across a broad range of categories with a common saving theme and deal format. These are retailer-themed super saver events. And examples are the super sale event offered by Woolworth, or the Cardbuster savings event offered by Kroger's, or the Hamster Week event offered by Albert Heijn in the Netherlands. So, retailer-themed super saver events. And the questions researchers looked into are those. First, do retailer-themed super saver events attract extra visitors to the store during the event? Do these events increase visitors' purchases at the store? And are these effects incremental, meaning if you look at a dip before and after the event and taking everything together, do we have an uplift? And fourth and last question is, if we have more and less successful events, what explains the difference? The data that these researchers looked into is very interesting. They looked at a panel of households, so they observed what a specific number of households, always the same, did across a certain time period. They checked what did they buy at the top 7 Dutch grocery chains over a period of 200 weeks, and these 200 weeks covered 44 retailer-themed super saver events. To answer these questions, researchers looked at 4 variables: the change in visits, the change in the conditional volume. Conditional means in this case, in case the customer participated in the promotion, how much more or less did she or he buy? The total volume change and the total spending change. And they looked at it during the event, the week before the event, and the period 8 weeks after the event. Then they summed it up as a net effect across all periods. To answer the first question, whether these events increase the number of visitors during the event, the researchers found that 7.75% more visitors came into the store during the event. They bought 0.34% more units, and in total they sold 8.47% more units and generated 3.63% more revenue. The answer to this question is yes. Retailer-themed super saver events attract extra visitors. But what about the net and total effect? To look at the net and total effect, we should also look at the dip before and after the event. Before the event, retailers find that customers anticipate the event and come back to the retailer less frequently. So the visits drop by 2.7%, the conditional volume drops by 2%, and the total volume and spending is about 8% less the week before the event than expected. After the event, we find a stockpile issue. Customers bought during the event much more than usual, and keeping the consumption rate constant, it lasts longer. So after the event, customers buy less But customers come back more often after the event than before. So the Super Saver event makes customers return, but they buy a bit less. So they come back for smaller baskets. Okay, what about the total net effect? First, retailers find more visits after the event. So 2.68% overall more visits does a Super Saver event create. The conditional volume drops by 0.66%. The total volume goes up by a little bit more than 1%. And the total spending drops by 0.1%. And actually, these 0.1% are statistically not significant, meaning the total revenue does not change. So overall, we have more visits, we sell more units, but the revenue remains constant. That's the total effect of Super Saver events. Okay, what makes a retailer-themed Super Saver event more successful? If we look at the dependent variable of visits and conditional purchase volume, the researchers found the following. Compared to a BOGO promotion, like buy one, get one for free, a fixed price promotion generates fewer visits compared to a percentage of or the BOGO promotion. They also find that if the scope of the promotion is larger, more visitors come. But these deal formats and scopes have no impact on the conditional purchase volume. Discount depth and advertising budget seems to not affect visits and the conditional purchase volume. Probably because the discount depth is more or less the same, so it does not change much. We have statistically not much variance in there, so we cannot detect any relationship between discount depth and visits or conditional purchase volume. And lastly, the theme resonance, meaning the media coverage of a specific promotion and the number of previous occurrences seem to impact the number of visits and the conditional purchase volume. The larger the media coverage is, the more visits and the higher is the conditional purchase volume. However, there seems to be a wear-out effect. The more occurrences of the retailer-themed Super Saver events occur, the lower is the impact on visits and the conditional purchase volume. The number of visits drop and customers buy less the more often a Super Saver event has happened already. Okay, retailer-themed Super Saver events generate more visits even after the event, so it has a sustainable impact afterwards here. They buy a bit less, but overall you sell more units, and it has more or less null impact on your revenue overall. But what about the profitability? The profitability is hard to estimate. How is the impact on profitability? It has to do with your margin before and your margin afterwards. The discount depth, the share of units that are on promotion before and after, how much can you involve your manufacturers in participating in this promotion, and so on and so on. So it's hard to estimate what would be the profitability impact. But revenue-wise, it's close to zero. However, you might have found more new customers. I hope I can leave you with a spark of inspiration today. And if you seek more inspiration on pricing and psychological pricing, join me at pricingnuggets.com. I'll see you there.